We're about to lose one. Get the intruder.
Copy. We're almost there.
Security breach.
Attacking the area.
Security breach.
Shit, I've got movement. Where? Everywhere. Contact!
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Hertz here. A little more Spies versus Mercs action. SvM Blacklist. We're heading back to the Virus Vault. It's Old Faithful, my loadout. However, I swapped out the weapon. I was previously carrying that MP5, and before that, the PP2000. But this time, I thought I'd check out this Mac 11 here. So that's what's in there. And it fits nicely, It's really it's a well concealed automatic weapon, And so that's spectacular. And you know what? At the closer ranges, the thing really has some stopping power if you're aiming or for the teeth. Now I do my little, piercing the heart of the between the B and the C sectors. I was tempted to make a run for the B, but I did know that my teammate had moved straight into that C sector, and I knew that the hack was going to get picked up pretty quickly. And so I figured I'd just fall into a defensive posture, defensive position, as I like to do. And I did see that there, I had noticed the first guy coming in, wasn't aware that there was going to be a second one, backing him up until I actually got here. And I'm glad I came here, backing up Wi-Fi and fake there with the hack running. And I did my job, did some serious slicing and dicing, came down, dropped down like a goddamn ghost, and took those two guys out. And Wi-Fi and fake managing to handle business for himself as well, putting down Mercs when need be, protect that hack, keep it going, and some strange whispering coming in. I don't know if y'all are gonna hear it once I adjust all the sounds and everything, but somebody was whispering into their mic there, freaking me out a little bit, I don't know what it was all about. Anyway, putting down Steven and to make a run for this vent, trying to gain quick access out here. At the very least, I'm given a nice little hideaway, nice little spot where I can tuck myself into and kind of keep an eye on things. Tracking Mr. Disruptor down here, trying to close the distance. Finally, I do. Just needed, I put a little English on that takedown. You notice that? Walked around the pillar, went around that last side of the pillar so that I could put a little English on it. And here we can see the Mac 11 in action, ripping Steven down with serious haste, I probably, looking back at that, I probably should have left the mine intact and maybe gone for a shot it as soon as the next Merc entered the area, But I repositioned it as a good goddamn thing I did, with Peter spawning over on this end now, trying to move in on an alternate entry, and I managed to put him down. Really caught him napping. I don't think he was expecting me there. Of course, he does get a little revenge there on Liquid Vol as I crank around just in time to see him. I was going to leave the mine initially, but then I realized, I'm going to have my teammates are going to be coming out of there. Somebody's going to step on it, and I turned around just in time to see that mess go down. God damn. Liquid Vol. Poor guy. Anyway, a couple of Mercs left the game. Really weren't feeling the vibe, I guess, early on here. And a couple more have spilled in. So, we're back. They're back to full force on the other side. We're going to have a good match here. And you can see the team putting up a really wide perimeter here on this sector. Of course, they are following both Zara and Wi-Fi and Fake are down. Now the Mercs have pretty easy. Well, they'll have a pretty easy time coming in and cleaning up this sector. One guy taking a knee, the drone is active, and they're really playing a little too cautiously. When you put down two defenders like that, I think you need to be a little bit more... Well, you need to move in here with a little more haste, and I think it probably has cost them up till this point. They probably could have swarmed me a little bit faster, tried to pinpoint my location a little bit quicker, and they just didn't, They just didn't. They waited for the drone to do the work for them, and it's cost them. Now the defenses have returned, and the bodies are hitting the floor on both ends, Zara did get in there, sliced and diced, took a neck, put somebody down, of course, did fall to a mine in the process. Now myself, I repositioned up there. I thought it was a good move. I probably should have just held my ground, but I felt it was a little boring. I was getting a little bored sitting up there. I wanted to try and take somebody down. The Mercs were playing far too cautiously, it was taking them way too long to finally filter over my side. I was probably jumping the gun a little bit there. Really wasn't expecting him to spot me through the grating. Of course, he did. Y'all saw it, how it went down, and it cost me, Had my hack hack stopped short at 70%, and now it's stopped short one more time. Wi-Fi and Fake, who had picked it up, getting put down with some fire from the Demon Gamer at the 82% mark. Now Liquid Vol, you see him, he's in there, gets the hack going one more time. I'm in here for backup. Liquid escaping to safety over the balcony, over the railing, and he escapes into the shadows. I do a little slicing and dicing, take out the drone as well, which was just spectacular, you know, put up a great guard there. At this point, after that mess there on the corner, I don't know if you noticed, I came off the corner really awkwardly trying to shoot at that one mine, trying to settle in on the corner, put some fire up with my Mac 11, and it was all ass backwards. I didn't feel right, it didn't feel good, so I had to just bail out of there. And, you know, it was like a little tag team, and we both, Wi-Fi and myself, moving in on Steven, looking to do a little slicing and dicing, and we both avoid the mine that he dropped. The Kamikaze Merc dropped amazingly, you know, and escaped to safety. However, my safety is short-lived here. I wish I'd gotten around the side of that freight container just a little bit sooner. Probably would have been able to initiate that death from above on Cheekly. Amazing that he put me down there. It seemed like I had him completely beat. I was taking him down. It wasn't the gunfire that finished me off either. For those of you that are curious, it was a slice and dice. So don't, anybody that comes over here telling me there's no lag or latency in these games, well, there's your proof right there, you know. That's complete. I don't know, maybe it's different if you're playing on the consoles, but on PC, on Uplay, there's definite latency, you know. It's definitely there, and it's one of the big problems is that it's not like region specific. I think there are so few users playing the game on the Uplay servers that they just kind of, if there's a game available and it's being hosted in Russia and I'm living in Canada, I end up in the game playing against the Russians, you know? And that's just the way it goes, and it's unfortunate that it has to play that way, that we don't have enough support and a large enough community to kind of support more regional servers. But there is plenty of lag and latency going on, and that, you know, that was a perfect example of it, you know? So anyway, I'll put it behind me. I'm not going to dwell on it. We're in here. We've got we managed to bring in 2 hacks, so that's beautiful. We still have some good time left here. I have this hack going on the B sector, 23% deep. Unfortunately, you know, just a little bit too outnumbered. There was a mine being dropped. I was taking fire and grenades from the balcony, and we did manage, both of us, myself and I think it was, Zara, who was coming in trying to get the guy who had eventually put me down with some fire. We both took our man. Zara just arrived a little bit too late, and Wi-Fi and Fake doing some spectacular work here. I'm loving that, you know. That guy, after spending a couple of rounds with him, realized that he was really, you know, a solid player and somebody to watch out for. Now, and he's picked the hack up, you know, where I had left it off. We're at 48%, now closing in on the 50%. I just cannot get there in time, despite a mad dash run. Both myself and Zara coming in there, full throttle. The cavalry was just a little bit too late, you know. We just couldn't arrive in time to save Wi-Fi and Fake. But I'll tell you, I did some serious slicing and dicing. I basically cleaned out the Mercs, with the exception of this guy over here in the distance, dropping another mine. I think he had actually, I think Liquid Vol at one point had picked up the hack and had fallen on one mine at one stairwell, you know, leading up to those upper offices. The Merc off in the distance there actually dropped a second one. So right here, that was beautiful. I was quite pleased to see that overcharged suit came in. Probably saved the hack, since my EMP grenades were completely depleted at this point. I come over there looking to do a little slicing and dicing, looking to grab a neck, but some beautiful fire from Wi-Fi and Fake putting down Cheek Lee. So I was quite pleased with that, and I managed to take that mine out just in time to save Wi-Fi and Fake, perhaps save his life as he moved into that traffic lane, you know. Now right here, with only a few percent left, I figure I might as well duck into some cover. You know, one guy at least saw me. At least one guy saw me go up there, put a little fire my way, but there was nothing he could do. There was no possible way that he was going to be able to cross that room in time to finish me off, you know. So there we go, some beautiful numbers, not just by myself, but by Wi-Fi and Fake as well. Really, I was impressed with that, and the performance from the team. You know, there was a lot. It was fast-paced. Guys weren't hesitating. Guys were going in there, playing their role as the defenders. And even if you're dying doing that, you're doing your job. You know, you're doing your job, and I love seeing that. Now we're seeing a new weapon up here on the channel. I don't think I have any MG4 footage yet, and I'll tell you what, guys. I remember now. There are 2 LMGs in this game, and I remember way back when, you know, several months ago, I had picked up one of the LMGs and given it a whirl. And it was this one. You know, it was this one, and it was because of this one that is why you never saw very much UMG or LMG footage until most recently, right, on my channel. This gun makes the U100 feel like a goddamn, I don't know, feel like an SMG. You know, are you following me here? This thing it's big and bulky and weighty. And that much more so than the U100. It just feels weird. I don't like it. I don't like this weapon. I will continue with it for a little bit. Hopefully settle in nicely with it. I hope I will anyway. And maybe get some good rounds with it. But I really, for the most part, you all aren't going to be impressed with this Merc run. I was suffering a lot of deaths from above, and maybe you'll get a nice little chuckle. Maybe you'll be able to, you know, I don't know, get a nice little look at Hertz getting his ass handed to him. I don't have a terrible round here, but it was, you know, I have a high standard as the Merc for myself personally. That's where I usually have, in the past, have dominated, you know. And when I don't meet those standards, well, I think it's just god awful, you know. But this gun, let's run down the loadout as they've picked up this hack on A. We're looking at the MG4. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this weapon, but I mean, it's big, it's mean, it's a behemoth. It will certainly scare the spies into submission, you know. Anyway, the disruptor suit, motion tracking vision. We do manage to track down Peter at long last. So it's got I have enhanced detection. You know, I got rid of the armored helm, went with enhanced detection with my motion tracking, so it's that much more effective for me now. Armored gloves are in there instead. I should probably have some faster reload gloves on though. But I always like to have at least one piece of armor, you know. And I think that was the sacrifice I made by throwing the enhanced detection on there. I needed armor somewhere else. The pocket pants are in there. I'm carrying VX gas and the Intel device. And my running shoes for a little extra speed, a little boost of speed. And here we go, tracking, you know, the spies, they're moving in here. I thought perhaps this was going to be the hacker, run into some cover, but no. It's only a defender, Steven, posting up there really quickly. Good goddamn thing I caught him before he could do any serious damage from that position he was slowly creeping towards. Now I'm looking for, who are we looking for here? Peter, tucked away in the inventory side, what I call the, kind of the storage sector of this area, you know. Over there, well, I'm not, at about my 9, oh, there we go, where Wi-Fi just came from. Over there, where I'm looking right now. And Steven coming in, looking for a little revenge, looking to take my neck and take me down. But no, sir, you're denied. I saw your cloak. And here we go, just pushing out. So everything looking good for the time being. But again, with this weapon, I don't know what to think about this. I'm not a big fan. I wasn't feeling it, wasn't digging it. And even after several rounds, really wasn't liking it. I mean, I don't know. It almost feels like it's a little bit weightier. You know, it's a little bit harder to pivot, to swivel it around. That could all be in my mind. I'm not 100%. You know, sometimes your mind will play tricks on you like that when you see something big and bulky that looks like it's going to be heavy. Maybe you just automatically assume it's going to feel that way as well. You know, I don't know. It's tough. I would imagine that you're not going to swivel this weapon around as quickly or be able to track a target as quickly with this weapon as you can with something a little smaller, a little lighter, a little more compact, you know? It would just make sense that that's the way it would be. Anyway, additional VX gas. I'm pretty sure there's somebody up in those vents, you know? Still lingering around up there. Get a little VX gas. Didn't hear any coughing, so I just moved out of the area. Swinging around wide here, and I'm telling you, they certainly are persistent on these hacks, especially on this C hack. I'm pretty sure most of the activity plays out between C and A, which is a likely scenario. That's often the way it'll go down, you know, with a botched hack on one of them. The returning spy or the returning hacker will often move to you know, if it got botched on A, they'll head for C. Now, right there, Peter, he was the hacker one more time. If I had been paying proper attention, I probably, you know, should have been aware that maybe he was posted back up in there. You know, often we as players, you know, and this is a very general, observation. When you as a player, when you play as the spy, you'll slowly develop locations that you prefer. You know, areas that you like in these sectors, that you like to hide in, that you've had success in. Often you'll like them because of the fact that you have success in them. And what will happen is often a lot of guys, when they're a merc, those will be the first locations they check, you know, because those are their golden locations, you know. For me personally, I rarely use that little inventory room in C, that little storage sector in the C area. I rarely use it to pull off my hacks, and so I don't really consider it a great location, you know. That's why I kind of just wandered in there as nonchalantly as I did, as carelessly as I did, and it cost me, you know. I got dropped on. Now, going back to that kill right there on Peter, I'm happy I got a little revenge. He was the guy that dropped on my noodle, that stuck his blade into the top of my skull, that gave me the lobotomy, you know. But you know what? I had him trapped, I had him tracked, and I put him down out there on the A sector. He had to do something, you know. We've got all 3 terminals. The time is winding down for these guys. He knew that he had to do something if they want to stand a chance of just bringing in the draw, you know. So at this point, I'm moving in. That intel device does pay off right there. Beautiful. Picking up Steven as he comes wandering in. He was probably getting ready. If not, if he didn't already have his cloak on, was probably getting ready to activate it. I end up saving old Liquid Vol's life from that death from above as Peter was getting ready to drop on his skull. And we're still wandering around looking for this hacker. Now, where was he? Where was he? My God, how? I felt safe. I felt safe. I had a Merc on either side of me. And where was he hiding? Well, I'm not 100%. Maybe he was hiding, you know, maybe he was holding on to the bottom of my, you know, hugging my MG4. You know, it's always a possibility with a gun that size that he was just, you know, hugging it, like doing a serious, like, latched on, you know, and was just hanging. I was carrying him around on my MG4, and finally he'd had enough. Like a Cape Fear style, you know, Robert De Niro underneath the car, strapped to the exhaust pipe, you know. That's what it felt like, because he just came out of nowhere. Where I think he was actually hiding, oh my God, another death from above. Where I actually think he was hiding was was right in behind that little red tool bench that's sitting right next to the big missile, you know, on the table. My God. So anyway, and again in the C sector, I would have been pretty sure, I had been confident that they had all cleared out of there. Oh, there's some angry camera cycling taking place right now. You can tell I'm not in a good mood. Anyway, we get to the A sector. That's where the hack's going, but I'd been pretty sure, I was almost certain they'd all cleared out of that C sector. But of course, that's what happens when you make assumptions, Hurts. You make an ass out of yourself. You get your head punctured by a blade, and you get sent to the next life. You get sent packing. Anyway, here we go. Get a little VX gas perimeter down for a little safety. Drop the intel device, and there he is. There's the Demon Gamer. I put him down, and actually, just prior to that, Wi-Fi and Fake had worked out, you know, taking down the rest of the spy squad, so they don't really stand a chance of getting back here in time. You know, here come the new respawners now. And I'm gunning them down. Put down Peter as he runs into some cover. The second man in does manage to escape me, does manage to elude me, but I get a little VX gas down. There's actually, I think what it had turned into actually 2 motion tracking dots or blips on my radar. There it is. And again, careless and sloppy. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, you don't need brains to wield the MG4. That could be what I'm suffering from, yes. What you need when you're carrying the MG4 is brawn. You need muscles. You need some heavy-duty biceps, some triceps, some delts, some lats, some pecs. You need a little bit of everything. You certainly need some core. You need your abs there as well. Good Lord. If you're going to wield a weapon like this effectively, you best be a bodybuilder. You know, a professional wrestler. Something along those lines, yes. Anyway, but you certainly don't need the brains, and that's showing. That's showing because I was playing like a fool for a better part of this round, getting dropped on far too often, and I hate it. I loathe it when I'm getting dropped on like that often, you know. Every couple minutes, every 60 seconds, Hertz is getting dropped on again. Anyway, now you can see we're back into the C sector, and again, had I actually been paying attention to who was hacking, and been paying attention to kind of his trend in this room, it is Peter. He does like this storage area, right? And I just kind of wander over there for a split second. Don't really pay much attention to it. Don't wander right in there. I'm forced to deal with Cheek Lee coming in, who gets put down by a little shotgun fire through the window from Wi-Fi and Fake. And now a new man in here. There's Demon Gamer charging on in. Now I just go Oh no, here we go. Now I actually did check this location, which is surprising. I didn't remember doing that, but I did. So maybe Peter was actually posted up elsewhere. Either that, or he was playing really cautiously, really quietly and patiently in that sector. I'm not really sure. He could be deep on this end of the room. It's unfortunate. I'm checking some good likely locations coming down the wire here. 93%. It looks like they're gonna save a little bit of face and actually be able to bring this in, which is good. Good for them. You know, Peter, he did pick up several hacks along the way, and it's nice to have actually seen one pay off. It's just a shame that it came at my expense and myself getting dropped on as often as I did. So there it was, guys. I mean, it's not it wasn't a spectacular round, especially on the Merc side of things, you know. Pretty good on the Spy side, you know, and maybe it was about even, you know, when you think about it. I think I went 13-3 on the Spy, which means I went about 12-4 on the Merc, which isn't great. Really, that was pretty bad as a Merc, actually. But you know what? I have such a low standard for myself as the Spy that when I pull in that 13-3, I mean, that's like spectacular for me, right? But as a Merc, I have such a high standard, like I said, and that 12-4 is just despicable. It's awful. It's awful. Anyway, let's run down some names and numbers, see where the killing was done. Myself, 1 hack, 1 defend, 25-7. Wi-Fi and Fake, a great player. You know, loved the way he was just doing business out there. One hack, 3 defends, 26-9. Now Zara, despite not having great numbers there, 9-16, was certainly an active participant in the Spy battles when we were on the Spy side of things. What didn't hesitate getting in there, getting into the mix of things, trying to play a defensive role in the battle. You know. Now down on the bottom level, we see Peter bringing in that lone hack for the opposing team. 2 defense for him, 14-17, pretty solid player, you know. And I think that's probably about it. The rest are, you know, it was all pretty even Steven down there, you know. But and they just got we just got the better of them, you know. And of course, Danilo Master coming in right at the end there. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by, tuning in, and checking out this episode, this video. I hope you dig it. I hope you'll thumb it. I hope I'll see you in the next one when it launches or releases. But until then, remember why it hurts, people. Later.